Remember how just a few years ago you barely caught a cold? Or if you did, it was over in a flash. And now, it seems like every little bug takes its sweet time to leave, and sometimes feels like it knocks you right off your feet for days. Or maybe you've noticed that scrape or cut takes a lot longer to heal than it used to. It's a frustrating reality that as we get older, especially once we cross that 65 mark, our bodies handle things differently. Our resilience, that ability to bounce back quickly, seems to change. It's not just about feeling a bit slower or having less energy. Something fundamental is shifting inside. And a big part of that story involves our immune system. This incredible network that protects us our entire lives begins to undergo some significant changes. It's not failing. Not exactly. But it starts working in a different gear. Sometimes less efficiently. Sometimes overly enthusiastically in the wrong way. Understanding these shifts isn't about dwelling on the negative. It's the secret to knowing how we can best support our bodies and continue to live vibrantly. In this video, we're going to look at 6 specific things that happen to your immune system after age 65. By understanding these changes, you'll be much better equipped to help your body stay strong and healthy. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you. Something that ties all these changes together in a way you might not expect, but can absolutely do something about. So, let's dive right into the first big change your immune system experiences as the years go by. Particularly after 65. It's a natural process, a sort of gradual winding down of some aspects of the immune system's peak performance. Think of it like an old, well-used car. It still runs. It gets you where you need to go. But it might not accelerate as fast, and some parts might not respond quite like they used to when it was new. The scientific term for this is immunosenescence, which essentially just means the aging of the immune system. It's one of the primary reasons why older adults can be more susceptible to infections like the flu, pneumonia, or even just those common colds that seem to hang around forever. What's actually happening? Well, your immune system has many different types of cells, like tiny soldiers always on patrol. 2 really important types are called T cells and B cells. T cells are like the strategists and direct attackers, identifying and destroying infected cells. B cells are like the weapons manufacturers. They create antibodies, which are proteins that lock onto invaders like viruses and bacteria, marking them for destruction. As we age, these T cells and B cells don't work quite as efficiently. They might not recognize threats as quickly, or they might not multiply as rapidly to mount a strong defense. The T cells, in particular, struggle to respond effectively to new infections they haven't seen before. They get a bit tired, less diverse. And some old memory T cells that responded to past infections hang around, but aren't very useful against new threats, taking up space. This makes it harder for your body to fight off novel pathogens. Imagine your seasoned troops being less quick to react to a new enemy tactic. One significant factor contributing to this T-cell slowdown is related to the second big change we'll talk about: the shrinking of the thymus gland. You might not have ever thought about your thymus gland before. It's a small organ located behind your breastbone, and it's absolutely crucial for developing T-cells, especially early in life. Think of the thymus as a boot camp for T-cells. Young, inexperienced T-cells are produced in the bone marrow and then travel to the thymus to mature and learn to distinguish between your body's own cells, which they should protect, and foreign invaders, which they should attack. This training is vital to prevent the immune system from attacking itself. The problem is, the thymus starts shrinking significantly after puberty and becomes much less active as we age, especially after 65. By the time you're in your later years, it's a fraction of the size it once was and produces far fewer new, naive T cells, those fresh recruits ready to learn about new threats. This means your pool of diverse T cells available to fight off never-before-seen viruses or bacteria is smaller. You still have a lot of memory T cells from past infections and vaccinations, but if a completely new bug comes along, You have fewer soldiers ready to be trained specifically for it. It's like having an army made up mostly of veterans trained for old wars, with very few new cadets ready to learn modern combat. This reduced ability to generate new T cells directly impacts your body's capacity to respond robustly to new infections and even new vaccines. So, these first 2 points, the general aging of immune cells, immunosenescence, and the decline of the thymus gland, are deeply intertwined. They explain why the overall immune response can be less vigorous and slower in older adults. It's not about the immune system disappearing. It's about its components becoming less agile and fewer new specialized fighters being produced. This is why simple things can suddenly feel like a big deal. But understanding why this happens is the first step towards finding ways to support the immune system as it ages. It's not a lost cause at all. There are absolutely things we can do, daily habits and choices, that can help bolster this aging system and mitigate these natural changes. For example, staying physically active isn't just good for your muscles and heart. Regular, moderate exercise has been shown to help keep immune cells circulating and potentially improve their function. Managing chronic stress is also huge, as stress hormones can suppress immune responses. And, of course, good nutrition provides the building blocks these cells need to function as well as possible. While we can't make the thymus grow back, we can support the existing immune cells and try to keep them as effective as they can be. Now that we've touched upon the general aging of our immune cells and the decline of the thymus gland, let's move on to the third significant change, a reduced ability to produce antibodies effectively. Remember how we talked about B cells making antibodies? Antibodies are absolutely critical for fighting off infections. When a virus or bacteria enters your body, your B cells learn to recognize it and start pumping out specific antibodies designed to neutralize that particular threat or mark it for other immune cells to destroy. This is also how vaccines work. They introduce a weakened or inactive part of a pathogen, so your B cells can learn to make antibodies against it without you getting sick. Then, if you encounter the real pathogen, you already have the antibodies ready to go. However, as the immune system ages, the B cells become less adept at this antibody production. They might not produce as many antibodies. The antibodies they do produce might not be as effective, or they might take longer to start producing them after encountering a threat or a vaccine. This has a few practical consequences. First, it means that when an older person is exposed to a new infection, their body's initial response might be slower and less powerful because it's taking longer to build up a significant army of antibodies. This can allow the infection to take hold more easily and potentially become more severe. Second, and this is really important, it affects how well vaccines work. Vaccines rely on your immune system's ability to generate a strong antibody response. While vaccines are still highly recommended and beneficial for older adults, the antibody levels produced might not be as high, or might decline more quickly. Compared to a younger person, this is why booster shots are often recommended for older adults, particularly for things like the flu or COVID-19, to help keep those antibody levels topped up and maintain protection. It's also why sometimes higher dose or specifically formulated vaccines are developed for older populations, to try and stimulate a stronger response. So, while getting vaccinated remains one of the best ways to protect yourself, it's important to understand that the protection might not be quite as robust or long-lasting as it was in your younger years. This isn't a reason to skip vaccines. It's a reason to be diligent about getting them and any recommended boosters. And also to understand that, even if vaccinated, you might still be somewhat vulnerable, emphasizing the importance of other protective measures like good hygiene and avoiding exposure when possible. Now, let's shift gears to the fourth change, which is a bit more subtle but incredibly important for overall health as we age: chronic low-grade inflammation. You've probably heard the word inflammation before, usually in the context of a sprained ankle or a sore throat, an acute, short-term response by the immune system to injury or infection. That kind of inflammation is a good thing. It's your body sending help to heal and fight off invaders. But imagine if that inflammatory response didn't quite switch off completely, or if it was constantly running at a low level throughout your body. Even when there's no obvious injury or infection, this is what's known as chronic low-grade inflammation. And it's sometimes referred to as inflammaging because it's so strongly linked to the aging process. As the immune system ages, it can become less regulated. Instead of calmly identifying threats and launching a targeted response, some immune cells start releasing inflammatory molecules almost constantly. It's like your immune alarm system becomes a bit faulty and is always beeping, even when there's no fire. This persistent, low-level inflammation isn't just happening in one spot. It's circulating throughout your body. And over time, this chronic inflammation can damage tissues and organs. It's now understood to be a major contributor to many age-related diseases, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, arthritis, and even some cancers. It creates a kind of simmering stress on your system. What causes this inflammaging? It's likely a combination of things. The aging immune cells themselves can contribute, becoming more prone to triggering inflammation. Accumulation of damaged cells and tissues over time can also prompt a low-level inflammatory response. Changes in the gut microbiome, which we'll touch on next, play a role. Lifestyle factors like poor diet, lack of exercise, chronic stress, and poor sleep can all fuel this fire. The good news here is that while inflammaging is linked to aging, it's not inevitable to the same degree for everyone. Many of the healthy habits we know are good for us in general are also powerful tools for reducing chronic inflammation. Eating a diet rich in anti-inflammatory foods, think colorful fruits and vegetables, fatty fish, nuts, and olive oil, can make a big difference. Avoiding pro-inflammatory foods like sugary drinks, processed meats, and excessive refined carbohydrates is also key. Regular exercise, maintaining a healthy weight, getting enough quality sleep, and managing stress are all crucial strategies to help dampen down this chronic inflammatory state. Addressing inflammaging isn't just about boosting your immune system in the traditional sense. It's about calming down an overactive, misdirected part of it, which in turn protects your entire body and helps you feel better overall. Okay, we've covered the general aging of immune cells, the shrinking thymus, the reduced antibody production, and the chronic low-grade inflammation. Let's move on to the fifth significant change shifts in your gut microbiome. Now, you might wonder what your gut has to do with your immune system. Well, it turns out, quite a lot. Your digestive tract is home to trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes, collectively known as your gut microbiome. This community of microbes isn't just sitting there passively. It's incredibly active and has a profound impact on your health, including a huge influence on your immune system. In fact, a large portion of your immune cells actually reside in your gut lining. The relationship is a two-way street. A healthy, diverse gut microbiome helps train and regulate your immune cells, teaching them what's friend and what's foe. Certain beneficial bacteria produce compounds that reduce inflammation and strengthen the gut barrier, preventing harmful substances from entering your bloodstream and triggering an immune response. They also compete with bad bacteria, helping to keep them in check. However, as we age, the composition of our gut microbiome often changes. Typically, the diversity of beneficial bacteria decreases, while the number of potentially harmful bacteria can increase. This shift can be influenced by diet: less fiber, more processed foods, reduced physical activity, medications, especially antibiotics, but others too, and age itself. When the balance of the gut microbiome shifts towards fewer beneficial and more harmful microbes, a state called dysbiosis, it can negatively impact immune function. The gut barrier can become less effective, allowing more inflammatory molecules and toxins to leak into the body, fueling that chronic low-grade inflammation we just discussed. The immune cells in the gut lining might become less well-regulated, potentially leading to overreactions or underreactions. A less diverse and balanced gut microbiome is associated with a weaker immune response overall and an increased susceptibility to infections. It can also impact nutrient absorption, further weakening the body. The good news. The gut microbiome is remarkably responsive to lifestyle changes. What you eat has a huge impact. Eating a diet rich in fiber, found in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, provides fuel for those beneficial bacteria, helping them thrive. Fermented foods like yogurt with live and active cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi contain beneficial probiotics. Sometimes a probiotic supplement can be helpful, but it's always best to discuss that with your doctor. Avoiding excessive sugar and processed foods is also crucial for maintaining a healthy balance. Staying hydrated, exercising regularly, and minimizing unnecessary antibiotic use can also help support a healthy gut microbiome. Focusing on your gut health isn't just about digestion. It's a powerful way to support your aging immune system from the inside out. Finally, let's talk about the sixth thing that often changes with your immune system after 65 impaired wound healing. Think about how quickly a scraped knee or a cut finger used to heal when you were younger. Often, it was just a few days, and barely a scar was left. Now, that same type of injury might take weeks to fully close and mend, and the scar might be more prominent. This slowdown in the healing process is directly linked to changes in the aging immune system. Wound healing is a complex process that relies heavily on a coordinated effort by different types of immune cells. When you get a wound, the first responders are immune cells that clear out debris and fight off any bacteria that might have entered. Then, other immune cells signal for repair processes to begin, calling in cells that build new tissue and blood vessels. As we age, the function of these crucial immune cells involved in wound healing declines. They might not arrive at the wound site as quickly. They might not be as efficient at clearing out damaged tissue or fighting bacteria, and their signaling capabilities might be impaired. This slows down the entire cascade of events needed for effective healing. The inflammatory phase of wound healing might also become prolonged or excessive due to that chronic low-grade inflammation we talked about, which can actually hinder repair rather than help it. Reduced blood flow, often associated with aging and underlying health conditions like diabetes, can also play a role by limiting the delivery of immune cells and nutrients to the wound site. This impaired healing isn't just about convenience or cosmetic appearance. Slower wound healing increases the risk of infection in the wound, which can lead to more serious complications, particularly for older adults who may have other health challenges. So, what can you do to support better wound healing as you age? Again, it comes back to supporting your overall health, which in turn supports your immune system. Good nutrition is absolutely vital. Protein is the building block of new tissue, so ensuring adequate protein intake is crucial. Vitamin C and zinc are also essential for collagen production and immune function in wound healing. Staying hydrated helps maintain healthy skin elasticity. Managing underlying health conditions like diabetes and circulatory problems is paramount, as these significantly impact blood flow and healing. Taking good care of your skin, avoiding unnecessary injuries, and promptly cleaning and dressing any wounds, no matter how small, are also important preventive measures. And understanding that healing might take longer means being patient and allowing your body the time it needs, while also being vigilant for signs of infection like increased redness, swelling, pain, or pus, and seeking medical attention promptly if you notice them. All right, we've covered a lot of ground. Looking at 6 distinct ways your incredible immune system changes after the age of 65, the general aging of immune cells, or immunosenescence, the shrinking and less active thymus gland, reducing new immune cell production, the reduced ability to produce effective antibodies, the presence of chronic low-grade inflammation or inflammaging, the shifts that occur in your gut microbiome, and finally, the resulting impact on wound healing. It might sound a bit daunting when you lay it all out like that. Acknowledging that our body's natural defenses aren't quite the same as they were in our younger years. But remember, understanding these changes isn't about accepting a decline. It's about empowerment. It's about knowing what is happening so you can make informed choices about how to support your body. Think back to everything we discussed. How physical activity helps keep immune cells circulating. How managing stress and getting enough sleep can calm inflammation. How a diet rich in fiber and beneficial microbes can support your gut, which in turn supports your immune system. And how good nutrition provides the essentials for tissue repair. These aren't separate pieces of advice. They are all interconnected strategies that address these age-related changes head-on. They help mitigate the impact of a less active thymus by supporting the function of the cells you do have. They help improve antibody response by ensuring your B cells have the resources they need. They directly combat chronic inflammation, which is a major stressor on the entire system. They nourish the gut microbiome, a cornerstone of immune health. And by doing all of this, you create a better internal environment for your body to fight off infections and heal when necessary. The surprising thing I mentioned at the beginning, it's how interconnected all these systems are, and how much influence you still have over them through your daily habits. It's not a secret pill or a single miracle food. It's the consistent effort in making healthy choices across different areas of your life. What you eat, how much you move, how you manage stress, how well you sleep, and how you care for yourself overall. Your immune system doesn't just exist in isolation. It's deeply integrated with your gut, your inflammatory state, your hormonal balance, and even your mental well-being. By taking care of one aspect, you often benefit the others. For example, eating more fiber for your gut health also tends to be anti-inflammatory and supports overall nutrient intake, crucial for immune cells and wound healing. Regular exercise reduces inflammation and stress, improves circulation helping wound healing, and supports a healthier gut microbiome. It's a beautiful synergy. You have the power to influence these processes, to help your amazing body continue protecting you effectively for years to come. Small, consistent changes truly do add up to a significant difference in how you feel and how resilient you are. Remember, aging is a journey, and while some changes are inevitable, how we navigate them is largely within our control. Don't get discouraged by the science. Get motivated by the possibilities. Start small, maybe by adding one more serving of vegetables a day, taking a short walk, or making a conscious effort to get to bed a little earlier. Every positive step is a step towards a stronger, more resilient you. Your body has carried you this far, and with a little support, it can continue to serve you well. What are your thoughts on these changes? Have you noticed any of them yourself? Do you have any tips for staying healthy and supporting your immune system as you've gotten older? Please share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Your wisdom could help someone else in our community. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us know we're providing valuable information. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos on living your best life at every age. Keep nurturing your body, keep learning, and keep thriving.